Right, it's Brian Pepperell here. We're at the home of Jim Delahunrty. It's the 29th of October and we're giving an interview. We're having an interview with Jim.
Well, Brian, I was thinking the other day that at the beginning of 2001 in a place called Doha, all the businessmen and experts and government representatives that could be gathered together on behalf of capital on a globalised basis, they got together in the World Economic Forum and they mapped out the future. Well, we're living in it, aren't we? We know what has happened. At the very same time, a counter-conference was held in a town called Porto Alegre in Brazil, with thousands of people from all over the world attended. And they wanted to have a conference that was anti-capitalism, that was anti-globalisation, and that could be the beginning of a better world. And though, of course, they came from a lot of different angles and a lot of different things were discussed, from the plight of the homeless rural people in Brazil to the debt of people in Africa and so on, there was a certain unity about it in that they began to talk about life after capitalism. And they there adopted the motto of the World Social Forum, which is, a better world is possible. Now, in the years after 2001, there were various meetings in various countries. It has always been just a discussion. It's not been a political movement with a party or anything. Parties are welcome to come. All sorts of social groups, all sorts of individuals have come to the meetings in various countries. There was one in New Zealand in 2003 at Porto Alegre, which I think was like a lot of these conferences. People had to get warmed up to what the thing was about. They had their own grievances. They possibly saw how they fitted in. But now, in 2008, it seems to me that there's a greater need than ever for a get-together of people in various countries throughout the world, and that includes New Zealand. Because we are in a situation which, if the people do not get together and decide what their needs are, and decide how this should be solved, and decide how people's power should rule instead of property power, then we know what will happen. The old rules will be laid on us again with possibly more severe regulation and dictation. So I'm going to devote my thoughts between now and the end of the year as to how we could get another social forum in New Zealand, possibly the same place in Porto Alegre, but the place isn't so important as the fact that people should have some avenue of getting together, deciding what their problems are, deciding what the implications are of this worldwide crash, and deciding how they shall act together as ordinary people. And I'm not suggesting that's simple, that people will suddenly come together and say, oh yes, I know what to do. There'll be people who'll be prepared to tell us what to do, but we must be tolerant of them and try to work our way through all the various divisions and points of view among people to an alternative. Because if we leave it to somebody else, it'll be left to the establishment, and we can't complain if something is imposed which we don't like. Really, it's up to us, and it's the agenda for 2009, I think.
Well, thank you, Jim. And again, we've been talking to Jim Delahunrty in his home in Wellington, New Zealand. Very good to see you again.
Very good. Very good.